It's the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Welcome to another episode here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. It is our mission to try to bring you some news you can use, and today will be no exception to that rule. Follow me on X at the Mike Prince Show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Be sure to visit the website obnradio.com. That way you can check out our 24-hour stream full of exclusive content by way of the Open Mic Broadcast Network. And with all that being established, let us jump right into today's episode. Well, I am dubbing today as Black Monday, and not the typical term that you associate with Black Monday where people are getting fired, but programs that are feeling, or in my opinion, in a bad way at the start of this Monday's journey. And I have three of them that I am going to focus on for today. And we'll go from 3, 2, and 1. Number 3 would be Southern Jaguars. Southern Jaguars, although it was a non-conference game on the books, you still lost to a heated rival in the case of Jackson State. A must-need win for both programs going into Saturday's event. But however, Southern showed up in the lackluster lane with their performance on Saturday, which has increased the heat on Coach Eric Dooley. He was quoted from the Baton Rouge local newspaper of asking Jag Nation not to give up on them just yet. They're still sorting out and working out some things, and they're right where they need to be because their first conference game, the one that'll count, will start this week against Alabama A&M. So it'll be very interesting to see how Coach Connell Maynor and the Bulldogs set the tone or continue to add to the woes of the Southern University Jags. Number 2 has to be Alabama State. Now, Alabama State, after coming off an impressive win over the Southern Jags that we just mentioned, lost to Miles, Division II program, at home. Now, Miles does have a very strong D2 program, but however, when you have these type of games set up to play at home, it is expected to win. Yeah, you might have to struggle sometime, but you are 9 out of 10 times, I might even dare to say 9.9 times out of 10 times expected to win that game. And my number 1 school this week on that Black Monday list has to be Prairie View A&M University. We know about the loss to Abilene Christian at home by the score of 45-16. But that's not my concern. That's not my dilemma. My concern is the lack of attendance that showed up at Prairie View's home opener. Now, there's always a method to the madness, excuses on top of excuses, but as far as I'm concerned, this is very inexcusable. There's no justifiable way that you don't have an outstanding show of support for the home team after coming off a thrilling overtime victory over your arch rival down the road. You set the table to take on a very formidable opponent in the likes of Abilene Christian. And to have such a disappointing show up is heartbreaking. And I know that the coaching staff will not address this because that's not their focus. Their focus is to get the guys ready to play, and administration might not even address it. But I'm freelance. I'm not on their payroll. What we do with the support of listeners like yourselves and people from abroad to bring you these games, daily content. And as an alumnus, as a journalist, as a supporter, It is very, very, and I might add one more, very disappointing to see what you didn't see. And I'm talking about fans in the stadium. When we go back to the 80s, and it was not much expected of the football programs or even the athletic department due to the concerns that the institution had to deal with. But people would still show up, maybe in the hopes that, is this the day that the streak will be broken? Is this the day that the Panthers will finally win? And as we have evolved to this 21st century, we have some of the best facilities in the FCS nation, not just Southwestern Athletic Conference, not just HBCU, but in the nation. We have some of the best opportunities in the nation. We have all of the amenities necessary for a successful program. Now, for the most part, I and just about any other fan would love to see more championships, but you have to give credit that Prairie View consistently is in, let's say, the 25, 35 percentile of successful programming that is contended throughout the Southwestern Athletic Conference. And for whatever the reason is, the fan base is not showing up. It appears that the only time that the fans are concerned to even make an attempt to show up is homecoming, State Fair Classic, and the Labor Day Classic. There are multiple excuses made on why we're not attending, the calls for this, the calls for that. And it's really to the point that it's nothing but lip service. If we're going to expect to get to that next level, if we're going to expect to be a program of significance, it starts, yes, with administration, yes, with coaching, yes, with performance, and also a resounding yes with fan support, fan participation. In the way things are shaping and looking from outside looking in, and I'm not saying this is anything close to happening, but if you put yourself in the administrative seat, why would you invest more money into a product that it appears people have no interest in? Why would I put myself, my rep, my money on the line when people are not even concerned about their own product? If I can't get people who are on the campus to come to the games, how am I going to get people off the campus to come to the game? Now, this is not just solely an individual concern. This is a collective concern. And it starts with the man in the mirror. What can we do? What will we do to improve this current situation? We have a new athletic director in, and it's going to be expected for him to do certain things, but you're basically tying their hands before they even get a chance to do their job. So when we look at this from a collective point of view, it is really a point of desperation. It's almost to the point to where, why would even designate homecoming? Don't even select a homecoming game. Make the homecoming game, I don't know, the last game of the season. Who says it has to be mid part of the season? I don't know what the problem is to get people to come and support your school. We chant who you rooting for, and the response is PVU. Well, PVU, where are you? Now, once again, we know that the coaches are not going to respond, at least on the record, to these type of things, because that's not their job. Their job is to prepare these teams to be as successful as possible. And as a former athlete myself, yes, the games will go on, but it does increase your energy levels when there are people helping support your cause, cheering you on toward victory. And when you are going against all odds, you're going against your opponent, you're going against your own home base, but yet when you get a hint of victory, it's everybody rallied around. Hey, man, I had you back all the time. Well, man, it's the 21st century, as I mentioned before, and it is really time to step our games up. It is no more time, no more room for excuses, and we need to really get it together. Now, some of you that are listening to me on a regular basis, you know that I'm consistent with my, I guess this would be an opinionated statement for today. And if I believe it to be the case and we have facts to prove that it's the case, I'm going to be strongly committed to that until proven otherwise. And at this point, we don't even deserve a D1 athletic program. And I mean that, because we're so concerned about the social things when it comes to hobnobbing and, dare I say, our wine and cheese attitude and response toward things, that football is at the back end of your to-do list. Athletics is at the back end of your to-do list. You're not concerned really, but then the moment things don't go right on the athletic playing surface, you'll be the first one to complain. But then when you have an opportunity to come, show your support, cheer your team on, cheer your school on, because let's be honest about this thing. Athletics is definitely an extension of the university, but it's because of this university, in the case of Prairie View A&M University, that is giving many people an opportunity to change their lives financially and socially for the rest of their lives. Some of you were first generation graduates of any particular higher learning institute. And the least you can do is come back and support your program. I really can't stress how disappointed I am in the lack of attendance. You know, games, as I mentioned, you'll win games, you'll lose games. That's part of competition. But we have got to change the narrative. We have got to change the culture. Prairie View A&M University is a very proud, historic institution. And I believe in that motto that Prairie View produces productive people. I've been doing this every day for a long time. And as I mentioned, I am not on Prairie View A&M University's payroll. A lot of people thought I was. But no, we do this as a labor of love. We produce the games as a labor of love. We do not receive any compensation from Prairie View A&M University, and we're okay with that. But by the way, if you're listening, Prairie View, be sure to change that if you'd like. You guys know how to get in contact with me. But we do this because we love our university. We love the Southwestern Athletic Conference. And when we love something, we put our efforts into it. And that's even showing up and supporting these young men and women that represent our dear Prairie View. The Panthers will continue to compete this week, and we'll be there to tell the story. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Thank you so much for joining in. Be sure to check out the post that we'll put on X at the Mike Prince Show, the rest of our interviews scheduled for this week, and a whole lot more. Panthers will be in action, Dallas, Texas, this weekend, taking on SMU. Kickoff time will be at 6 p.m., and the pregame show will be at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. So until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.